All right. We will call to order the regularly scheduled zoning hearing board meeting. First, we would like to do a pledge of allegiance. Okay, our next agenda item is opening comments, I guess. Is that? Oh, I thought you were going to go over yeah, we'll go over the party status.
As we do at the beginning of every meeting, for everybody assembled here tonight who's not an applicant or a witness for an applicant, there are two ways of participating in the hearings tonight, of which we have several. One is public comment. At the end of every application, there will be an opportunity for any member of the public to give a statement in support or in opposition, or any comments you would like to make to the board on that application. If for a particular application you have a more particular interest or are affected in a more particular way by that application, you request what's called party status, which will allow you to participate more fully, including asking questions of any witnesses, presenting testimony and evidence of your own, and be entitled to receive a copy of the decision when it is issued. If you are interested in party status for an application, I would ask you to fill out our party status form, which is on the table in the front of the gallery, and just fill that out, and you would hand that up when we call for party status at the beginning of each application.
Okay. Our next agenda item is solicitor announcements.
Yes, at our, I guess it was 2 hearings ago, we had a special hearing in July. We heard the application of 4-2 of 22 for 1202 Agnew. For the past 2 hearings, that has been continued on the record. But since the last hearing, the applicant has withdrawn that application, and no decision will be we did not render a decision. No decision will be rendered on that application.
Okay, so we will move on to our agenda item for the hearings. Our first application is 8-1 of 22, application of Len Bagley. Should I go through the whole thing?
Well, no, I don't think you have to read the whole notice. Is anyone here for 8-1, which is 336 Edmonds? That application, we had received a request for a continuance, I believe, Madam Chair, due to illness of the applicant. We can formally vote on granting that continuance.
Yeah,
if there is a motion.
I'll make a motion to continue the application. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye.
So that is continued to the October hearing, but we'll renotice for that hearing.
Okay, we will move on to application 9-1 of 22, application of Jignesh Kumar Soni for a special exception from pursuant to section 550-23.C4B to permit a smoke shop in the C3 commercial district. The property is located at 6948 Market Street in Upper Darby, PA. It's in the C3 Commercial District and in the 7th Council District.
Right, and before we begin with testimony, the board will enter the following exhibits. ZHB1 will be the application packet. ZHB2 will be the notice photos, and ZHB3 will be proof of publication. Mr. McCreesh?
Yes. Good evening, Solicitor and members of the chairman and the members of the board. What did he submit? Did he submit the lease? Do you have the lease and the permission from the owner?
Yeah, the application packet includes the application form, looks like a sketch drawing of the plan of the premises, a cover letter dated August 12th from the applicant to the zoning hearing board, a commercial lease agreement, and a permission to submit the zoning application from Hao Kun Zheng, dated August 12th, 2022. And I believe, I'm sorry, two photos of the interior of the property, as well as another letter to the zoning hearing board dated August 12th, 2022, that I believe answers the 7 questions included on the zoning application.
Okay, do you have,
The owner? Sure. It's Haokun, and the last name is Zheng.
and then do you have pictures of the zoning notice?
We do.
Do you have pictures of that too? What's that?
We're good on
They
it.
need this one.
Hmm?
They need the pictures.
They said they have them. You must have,
Yes.
okay. All right,
And we will take others if you have pictures you took, and we can mark them as an exhibit, an applicant's exhibit, if you would like. We're not going to say no to any exhibits you want to, any proper exhibits you want to introduce.
he took them, so, we'll just stand them up. There's about three different, because the building has 3 sides, kind of,
We'll mark these 5 pictures collectively as A1 notice photos.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sony, could,
Yes, please.
Jignesh Soni.
yeah,
Hello, everyone.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Truth.
And can I have your name, please?
Jignesh Kumar Soni.
okay. And Mr. Sony, 69 Narian LLC,
Yes,
that's your company?
yes.
Okay, and who are the members of that LLC?
It's one of me and Jignesh Soni and Sonal Patel. She's injured by the knees. She cannot come today.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But you are one of the members?
One of the member of this company,
Okay.
yes.
And your proposal is to open a smoke shop. This is the Modern Beauty store that's right there on
Yes.
Copley and Market Street,
Yes,
right across from the terminal?
yes.
Okay. And what would your hours be for the store?
10 a.m. to 9 p.m. as a
Okay, and how many employees would you have?
2.
2. Okay. Would there be any, what products would you be selling?
We selling lottery, cigarettes, cigars, and smoke and vape accessories.
Any other items?
No.
No?
And chips and soda, sorry. my
Chips
fault.
and,
Chips, soda, it's like a small convenient for the customer, chips and soda and lotteries. Yeah.
and did you say you were maybe gonna have utility payments?
Yes, like one company is called the Bosch Revolution. They have like, you recharge your phone and pay the phone bills and electric bills. That's a small service, we can add it later on.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how about inside? Is there any seating inside?
No, there's no seating.
Okay, so is the customer allowed to smoke in the premises, or does he?
No smoking at the premises, no.
Okay, so he just buys the
Buy the
product?
product and get out.
And-
Yeah,
and
they
then-
have to leave the store.
And then, okay. I don't have any other questions for Mr. Sony. I don't know if the board does.
So, what were the hours of your operation again?
10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay. And then do you know if you're within 300 feet of a residential zoning district?
I don't know before I apply. When I applied for Mr. Josh told me about that. That's why we applied for the.
Okay.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, where you're located is commercial,
No,
a commercial area?
Right, it's all commercial. There's a big apartment complex across, right on the other side of Copley. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
considered residential or
Well, it's
commercial.
a residential district,
Right.
so if it's still within the C three, that would still be a commercial district, even
I
though you have a residential use.
Right, the
So-
use is residential. I didn't take any measurements, but I don't believe
Okay.
that he's within 300 feet of a residential district. So he probably could stay open till 11, but he said 9 because I think that's what Josh recommended.
Okay.
So.
And then, you said you're selling just small convenience store type,
Yes,
but you don't have a liquor license or anything like that?
no liquor and no smoking inside, yes.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other smoke shops
It's not,
located within 500 feet of the property that you're
no,
aware of?
it's not a smoke shop.
Okay.
Mostly it's convenience stores.
Okay.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, there's convenience stores, there's a pizza shop there,
Yes.
there's,
Then it's beauty, like it's a pizza shop, liquor store is, like beer store is next to us.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Bob? Is that the end of your presentation, I guess?
that's the end, yes.
Okay. Is there any other comments from the audience? Anyone? You can come up.
This is actually something that. Sorry, I just need your name, please. Oh, sure. My name is
Yeah,
Sabrina.
if she can come over to the mic so we can hear a little better.
Hi. My name is Sabria, that's Sabria. My last name is Kegler, Kegler. I'm actually reading this for Sabrina Nunn. She's on her way, so. Spell that last name. Yes, it's Nunnn. When you're reading, just try to read slowly. Okay, I'll try. Thank you.
Just one second. Do you know if she will be here
Yeah,
shortly?
she's like walking down the street right now, but I didn't know if there was enough time for her to get into the building and
I-
still have time to speak.
And typically, we can't let someone speak on behalf of someone else in one of
Okay.
these proceedings. So, I mean, does the board want to?
Sure, I can say something and then she can read what she wanted to say.
As long as you're speaking on behalf of yourself.
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of myself. I'm not sure what is the amount of distance between this establishment, like I don't know.
Speak into the mic.
The
It's
mic?
really hard to hear. Thanks.
Is this better? I'm not exactly sure, distance-wise, but there are several other smoke shops near where this smoke shop is going to be. And I'm not sure if just because it sells something else that it's not considered to be fully a smoke shop. But I do live in Upper Darby in the 7th District, and I've been here for about 11 years. So I walk around the area very frequently, and there are more smoke shops. I don't think that Upper Darby says that it wants to be a more walkable and clean space for everyone, but if you constantly fill it with several smoke shops and convenience stores, I don't see how that is something that Upper Darby is really working towards. So I think that the zoning board should really consider and do your full due diligence and take some time to really consider if Upper Darby needs another smoke shop.
And you said there are other smoke shops in the
Yes,
area?
there's another smoke shop on 65th and Market Street. There's another smoke shop where it actually used to be a pipe shop, but that shop is gone, and that's now a smoke shop that's within a few feet, walking in the opposite direction from where this will be. And there's another one right on Long Lane that is considered a smoke shop too. That's right on between Walnut and Samson. So that's a smoke shop too. They also sell other things like chips and soda too, but it's a smoke shop.
The one that you said is a few feet from, is it from this location?
Yeah, so
Uh,
it probably would take me less than 2 minutes to walk there from where this one is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh, Is Josh, has the zoning, have you, as the zoning officer, done, we can also ask the applicant about this, about the proximity of other smoke shops to this location, but you as zoning officer done an analysis as to the separation of smoke shops in this area?
I looked on that block and did not see any within 500 feet. And I'm currently looking right now also behind. Yeah, that would be perfect.
And ma'am, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name,
It's Kegler, keg, like beer,
Hegler.
keg of
Okay.
beer.
Um,
She had to be
Where,
sworn in?
well, just one, that's where I'm going. Where do you live? Are you,
130 Ashby Road.
and where is that in location to this property?
I don't know distance-wise, I've not been able to measure it,
No,
but,
that's okay, but
yeah,
like
but
relatively.
walking there, it wouldn't take me that long, maybe 5 minutes to walk there.
So this portion is public comment, and usually this is just statements. In order for you to introduce testimony, you would, I would say you'd have to become a party
Okay,
to this proceeding, which, that's why I'm asking these questions about where you live and in what proximity. Would you consider this your neighborhood?
yes,
Yes. Mr. McCreesh, are you familiar with, 130, or the general location of 130, is it Ashby?
yes, it's Ashby.
Ashby, I think you're kind of behind 69th Street, kind of over by Glendale.
No,
over
it's
by the
basically like
Citizens Bank?
three blocks if you walk the distance from where this will be to where I live. It's 1, 2, 3 blocks from the front part.
So is 130 Ashby is up the street from the township building?
Yeah,
Okay. Right. I mean, Mr. McCreesh, would you object to Ms. Kegler being recognized as a
No,
party? Do you have any other questions of Ms. Kegler as to her party status?
no.
Okay, so we're going to have to swear you in.
okay,
And before you leave tonight, I would ask you to fill out that form on the front table, the party status form.
okay.
But if, Bridget, if you don't mind administering the,
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
so at this point, you are free to offer any testimony you would like. You could, which includes the addresses of other locations or any other type of evidence that you would want to put on.
Okay. Currently, there are 4 smoke shops in the 7th District. One is 782 Garrett Road, which is a smoke shop, which is about 2 doors away from a daycare. There's one on 7300 Marshall Road, Super Grocery and Smoke Shop. There's one at 240 South 69th Street, 69th Street Wireless Smoke Shop. There's one on Long Lane at 414 Long Lane, Upper Darby Convenience Store.
Is the 240 South 69th the one that you said is the closest to this one? The one you said is a
That's
couple feet away?
down towards the other way.
Okay. Do you have the address of the one that you mentioned to be the closest to?
Which one would be the closest
None of those are.
in your,
Do you have the map?
If
She has
she,
the map.
she's welcome to, I know you
Speak,
just walked in
yes.
and you haven't heard the testimony that was already given, and that's fine. And we can ask her the same questions I asked you if
Okay.
she wants to participate as a party and
Yeah,
and
I
enter evidence.
don't know the address off the top of my head.
Okay.
I just know it from like walking that way, but I don't know the address off the top of my head. But it was before the smoke shop that's there now. It was a pipe shop, but that shut down during the pandemic.
A pipe shop?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the actual, what was written on the actual sign. It said the pipe shop.
Gotcha.
I think I have that address.
Mr. McCreish, do you have any questions for Ms. Kegler?
No. I mean, but the pipe shop's closed now, right?
And a smoke shop opened up in its place.
The smoke shop opened it. When did that open?
I don't know when it opened, but another owner did apply for a smoke shop there.
No, but they don't have a license now.
That I wouldn't know offhand, but they would have been grandfathered in.
Are you- So, Josh, is something operating in that pipe shop location at this time?
Again, I'm not sure if it's operating, but someone did apply to operate there, and it does, and the shop in question is 23 Garrett Road. And just using a straight radius on Google Maps, it does appear to be 421 feet from the proposed shop.
421?
That's what I'm getting, just using Google Earth and taking, not square feet, just taking 200, or just going straight from the door to door is 421 feet. That's radius, that's not counting going along the streets.
And are they, I'm sorry, are they operating?
I don't think they're operating at the moment, but I wasn't prepared for that, so I couldn't say for sure.
Understood.
Yeah, have you ever were you ever in that pipe shop before?
The one that was there before or
Yeah, the
this
that was
one?
there before.
I walked by there.
But you never went in it?
No, I did.
Do you know what kind of products they sold in there?
Do I know every single product they sold? No,
Well,
just
was-
what I
was-
went there
was
for.
most of the area for smoke products, or was it mostly for convenience items and groceries and sodas and stuff like that?
Just like the one that wants to be on 69th Street now, like chips, soda, cigarettes, vape things. It's the exact same thing.
That's the new store,
No, the old pipe shop.
the old pipe shop?
They're all basically they sell the same thing. They stick in a few convenience items like chips and soda, but that's it.
But you never went in the store and saw in the back, they have all kind of groceries and cases and cases of soda and newspapers.
Did I ever go in
candy.
to count
Did you
how
ever
much
go-
stuff
Did
they
you ever
have?
go in there?
Yes, I went into the store.
Do you have any further questions, Mr. McCreish?
No.
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Kegler?
I do not, no.
The type of smoke shop that you're looking to open, will it be a vape shop? Or is it cigarettes or combination thereof?
It's combination, just vape and vape accessories and cigarettes and lottery. Three things.
Thank you for your clarification.
Ms. Kegler, you're free to sit down. I believe, and just because I didn't catch your last name yet, I believe you're the other Sabrina? Oh, Sabria and Sabrina. I apologize. When I think we got the names, we weren't on the microphone yet. So yes, I believe there was a letter, but we need the person who wrote it to offer it to the board. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind coming up, is it just comment or do you have testimony to provide?
I guess it's testimony. I wrote it.
Okay, so where do you, if you can introduce yourself?
Sabrina Nunn, 130 Ashby Road.
I'm sorry, again?
130
130, okay.
Yes.
Did you get? Okay,
Nunn. Nancy, umbrella, Nancy.
since it's the same address as Ms. Kegler, Ms. Nunn, I think from a party status position, I don't think the board has any different position. Mr. McCreesh, do you have any questions or objection related to party status?
No.
Okay, so Ms. Nunn, before you proceed, we are going to swear you in, but I would ask before you leave tonight to, as well as Ms. Kegler, fill out the party status form that's located on the front table before you leave and hand that up. Bridget, do you mind swearing in Ms. Nunn?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Ms. Nunn, you can offer whatever you like.
Okay, because I know it's just, I need my readers.
No problem, take your time.
Okay. Oh, God, don't tell me I forgot them. She may have to read this after all. Oh, no, I haven't.
Can you try to read slow for me? So I can take it down, please?
Sure, no problem. This is in opposition to the zoning hearing for case 9-1 of 2022. If you haven't noticed, there's been a proliferation of smoke shops in Upper Darby. This is not unique to our community, but has been occurring throughout Pennsylvania as well as the rest of the country. It has been reported that the oversaturation of these establishments is in anticipation of the legalization of marijuana for recreational use. A 2019 investigation revealed that many smoke shops are knowingly or unknowingly selling CBD as vape and edible products that contain synthetic marijuana, which is illegal. We already have a few shops in our community whom advertise that they sell CBD. Currently, regulations regarding it is lacking, which makes distinguishing hemp-derived CBD, which is legal, from cannabis-derived CBD, which is illegal, impossible without laboratory testing. In addition, many of these businesses offer pipes, hookahs, bongs, rolling papers, baggies, spoons, scales, and other paraphernalia associated with illegal drug-related purposes. By law, they are permitted to do so as long as they do not explicitly advertise or demonstrate in any way that the use is for illegal drugs, which was the intended purpose they were initially developed for. There are even grocery and convenience stores that display this paraphernalia, although they are not operating as smoke shops, such as the one at 157 Long Lane. It's right in their front window. We oppose the special exception for this establishment because there are two existing smoke shops in the area. One at the corner of 1 South 69th Street, which is 69, and it's called 69 Smoke and Convenience Store. That's open till 1 a.m. And the other located at 6840 Market Street, Terminal Tobacco Outlet, which is open 24/7. They are 180 feet apart. Granting a special exception for the proposed one to be located at 6948 Market would place them all within approximately 498 feet of each other. And it's not counting the one that's on Garrett. That some determination has to be made whether they're grandfathered in. Currently, there are 4 smoke shops in the 7th District that we're aware of: 782 Garrett Road, 7300 Marshall Road, 240 South 69th Street, 414 Long Lane. When marijuana is legalized, our community will be inundated with dispensaries. We do not have to end up in the same scenario that communities in California and New York are currently experiencing, with smoke shops on every corner, unable to regulate and enforce who is permitted to sell recreational marijuana legally and who isn't. We are in a position to be proactive about these establishments by limiting the number we allow in our township and being cognizant of their proximity to each other and surrounding residences and businesses. Per our existing zoning, medical marijuana dispensaries are not permitted within 1,000 feet of schools, daycares, or each other. It will become nearly impossible to regulate and or enforce this particular zoning ordinance once the laws change if these shops continue to open. The fact that another smoke shop is on this agenda tonight demonstrates the prevalence of them. In closing, it is ironic that while smoking has decreased in this country, we are having more and more of these smoke shops open up. And I'm well aware of the economic benefit of having businesses seeking to operate in our township. But care should be taken to not just focus on the immediate monetary impact, but to consider the long-term impact to the health and safety of our residents, stakeholders in the township. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nunn. Do you have anything else you'd like to offer the board?
I could give you what was said, the investigation reports and some images from the additional smoke shops that actually have CBD right outside on the window.
If, you can submit whatever you'd like to the board for, but I just ask that Mr. McCreesh is able to look
That's
at
fine.
those before you hand them up.
But you don't have, do you have extra copies of these?
I brought 4.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and we only really need one as the
I
board.
mean, they're just, I mean, I would just, I mean, you can take whatever
The board's going to
give
give
whatever
it the appropriate weight.
weight you want to them, but I mean, they aren't really relevant to my client's place, so.
Understood.
I would just like to point that out. I mean, they're general articles about places, and there's nothing about him selling CBD or gummy bears or anything like that. They're in the articles. I mean, he has to abide by the law, so I just.
Understood. And I mean,
Yeah, I
you
would just-
you
I-
prefaced it, the board will give
Yeah, whatever
everything
weight
the
you wanna give
appropriate
to it
weight.
is fine, but, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Nunn. Mr. McCreesh, do you have any questions for Ms. Nunn?
No,
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Ms. Nunn?
So is the pipe shop still functioning? Is it still open?
Well, is
The
that
one-
for,
23rd, the one at
One on-
23
The-
Garrett.
Garrett, yeah.
I drive past it, it's open, people go in and out, so I don't know what they're selling. And I have been in there when they were open as a tobacco shop. And so, but they sold newspapers, coffee, tea, cigarettes, cigars, top paper, newspapers.
any other questions for Ms. Nunn?
No, I don't have any.
Thank you, Ms. Nunn. Do we have any further questions we want to ask the zoning officer before we have any further ask for any further public comment?
I mean, I think we need to figure out if that one on Garrett Road is operational as a smoke shop, because it does appear to be within the distancing requirement.
Yeah, like I said, I recall them applying, but I don't know if they finished the process or if they opened offhand.
You also mentioned it being an existing,
Right, they would not need any sort of special exception. They would be
Right.
considered an existing nonconformity.
But they're still operating as a smoke, if they are operating as a smoke shop, it would still require the distancing for any new shop
Sure.
from that.
Yeah, of course.
yeah. I don't know what the new owners are gonna do with that pipe shop. It was called the Pipe Shop. They're clients of ours. I've been in there 100 times, and I don't think it was a smoke shop. It is called the Pipe Store, and they did sell cigarettes and different products behind the counter. But 90% of that store was devoted to sodas, small groceries, newspapers, candy, gum. I mean, it would, I don't know what qualify, I think a smoke shop is something that sells, I don't know if it's defined, I thought it was like,
We have a definition.
yeah, I thought, isn't it like 70%
It just, it's a retail establishment that has 20% or more of its total merchandise as tobacco, tobacco products, accessories, and/or vaping products. Of course, that's a new definition. I don't know if it was defined in the old.
Okay.
Right.
So I guess
we're
my
only-
que-
It might or might not be 20%. I don't know.
Right, and
then
I
if it's
guess
that.
your client is also saying he's going to do very similar things with his shop.
Well, his is gonna be more smoke shop. I mean, like I said, that store, I would consider that store more, at least the prior owner. I don't know about what the new owner's doing. The prior owner, I would say it was more
The sign-
convenience store.
The sign says.
It says pipe shop.
Domestic and imported tobacco.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they definitely stole, I mean, like I said, they were clients of ours. They definitely sold tobacco, and it was called the pipe shop. But I'm just saying, you go in that store, the whole back of the store was grocery products, sodas. So I don't know what their percentage was. It probably could be over 20%. I didn't know the percent. His is gonna be 100 or 90%
So,
tobacco.
and his very well may be. I think the issue that we're having here is that one of the criteria we're looking at is that your client's smoke shop is not within 500 feet
Right,
of
correct.
another
understand.
existing smoke shop.
Mhm.
It sounds to me,
I have a question. Go ahead.
I mean, so regardless of the percentage, if that store meets the definition of smoke shop, then it qualifies as the starting point for a 500-foot radius,
Correct.
which may or may not include your client's premises. And the board is trying to figure out, I think at this point, based on their questions, if the weight of the evidence supports the finding that we're outside of the 500-foot radius. So that, I'm just trying to set the understanding of the room here. Bob, do you have a
Yes.
question?
I had a basic question. If the smoke shop, pipe shop that was existing, whether it goes on as a pipe shop or goes on as some other business, it still represents a hurdle that, as far as the distance to the new property that you intend to open up, carrying the same things. It would be within the 500 feet, then it's something that we have to assume that it's going to open up as a tobacco pipe shop.
Do you want to ask? Or
Yeah, so I guess, question for you, I don't know if you want to, if you want us to make a decision based on what we've heard today, or if you want to present additional evidence, maybe for the usage of that store? Well, I mean, they would have to provide the information to us that shows that they're not within 500 feet of,
They go
it's their burden, yeah. So right now, we've been presented with information that there is something closer.
Right, but
Small.
this one, do you want us to get more evidence about whether this is within the 500 feet, or whether they have the license?
They don't apply for the zoning in the pipe shop. They have all product like that, but they don't apply for the zoning permit. They just open up like that. We apply for the legally, whatever the township.
Right,
wanna
but
apply.
he's saying their grandfather. did it
Yeah.
because they weren't-
Josh, do you have?
And make it even more confusing. So I'm looking on, because I also work for LNI, I'm looking in the LNI files. And there was a business permit applied for on June 20th, 22. They call it a convenience store, though. But the UNO does not look like it was finished yet. So, yeah.
So they applied for a convenience store for the
Right,
UNO.
so we have a permit for 23 Garrett Road. Business is going to be a convenience store from a pipe shop, and that's what they write. Now, again, this is just the application, so doesn't mean that they've been granted a CO. or that it's open.
But the information they provide at your department stated that it was a convenience store.
But not the,
States it, but if it was, yeah.
What it does is what it does.
well, just for the board's clarity, and Josh, the definition of smoke shop is a retail sales or wholesale establishment, right? I mean, I know it says, which maintains 20% or more of its total merchandise as tobacco products, accessories, and/or vaping products.
That would be
Shall
based
be
on-
considered a tobacco smoke shop for the purpose of this chapter. So if they applied for a business permit as a convenience store, but their product base was 20% or more tobacco products, it would qualify as smoke shop for the purpose of this chapter.
Right, and
correct?
it wouldn't need to go through any additional review, nor would we have given it any additional review when it came in.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what the inventory is offhand.
So I guess the question, so for Mr. McCreish, if you would like us to, or if you would like to submit any additional information.
Well, no, I'd like you to make the decision now. I think Josh answered the question. I mean, they applied as a convenience store, and we're guessing how much, if they're over 20, they could be 15%. I don't know, but they don't have they applied for a convenience store, they didn't apply for a smoke shop. So it seems to me, if they go over 20%, he applied first, they would have the problem and not him, because what they put down on their CEO is a convenience store, not a smoke shop. So maybe they're changing their business. I don't know anything about the new owner, what kind of business he's doing. But I don't think it's fair
Hey,
to say
on their
he's doing
application,
over 20%.
Not, on their application, not CO.
What's that? It's
On their application, not certificate
I'm
of
sorry,
occupancy.
yeah, it's on their application. But I mean, he applied for a convenience store, he didn't apply for a smoke shop. So I have to assume he's doing under 20% if he didn't apply for a smoke shop.
Okay, so just so I understand, you want the board to consider whether you've met your burden for the special exception.
Yes.
Do we need to ask some questions in executive? Is there any further public comment before the board takes executive session? All right, the board's going to go into executive session to review questions of law. There were, I think the board may have some further questions for the zoning officer before closing the record.
So what is the name of the new business on the application?
The application, it is listed as Jackpot Convenience Incorporated. Jackpot Convenience Incorporated.
Okay, that's the name of the company, right? Or is that the name of the store?
They wrote, it's probably the name of the company, but they wrote that in the name of the business section on the permit.
Josh, as a follow-up to that, what was the reason a new permit was applied for that location?
Change of owner, I believe. They, in order to open a new business, you would have to go through and get a new business permit.
So if someone purchased a business,
Mhm.
an existing business, and was just getting a new business permit to operate the same business, they would still have to apply for this they would have to submit the application you're looking at right now.
That's correct.
So the store doesn't necessarily have to close and a new business open.
That's correct. Yeah, they would just apply for a business permit. And then there would be also no zoning issues because if there were any existing nonconformities, those would be grandfathered in. And this pipe shop would have a year as well, where it could be picked up and continued as a pipe shop or a tobacco shop.
So it is called Jackpot Convenience.
That's correct.
Have you been there?
No.
Okay.
Been outside, but never inside.
Hmm?
I've been outside, but I have not been inside the building.
No, I'm just curious about the sign.
Ask him to do,
What's that?
can we ask him to go at it? To investigate it?
It could be part of a motion you make if there's, if the board would like more evidence to render its decision, you can certainly include that instruction as part of a continuance motion if that's what you choose to do.
That's what I'd like to do, is to get some more information relative to that. I'd like to
Well,
make a motion.
are there any further questions for the zoning officer? And we'll do it for good order. Is there any further public comment? Not that there has been. I think we're okay. Oh. Do you have further testimony to make, or is this just a? Sure. Absolutely. Ms. Nunn.
My comment is that I guess, questioning about a convenience store as opposed to a smoke shop. There are smoke shops that are convenience stores in this community that operate as convenience stores, but they're also smoke shops. If you do a search, Upper Darby Smoke Shops, you have 3 that come up as convenience stores, but they also sell, I guess, 20% or more tobacco products. And so I just want to make sure there's no qualming about a title of a store when nobody really knows what's going to be in this facility.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think you can ask for any motions.
I'd like to make a motion that we get some more information from Josh relative to the new convenience / the old.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Sorry. I must wear the mask. I'm asking that a motion be approved to have the zoning officer find out more information about the existing store and how far it is relative to the proposed new store, so we get some accurate measurements as well as understanding as to what they do. Anybody in favor of that?
I guess that would include a motion to continue this hearing
Yes,
to the next
it would.
scheduled session.
It would mean as a motion to continue this.
That's October 25th.
Okay, I second it.
There's a second to
All in favor?
Aye.
So if you, the board is choosing to continue this hearing until October 25th at 7 PM in council chambers. At time, they've asked for additional evidence to be presented by the zoning officer related to the 500-foot requirement. Okay?
As well as the type of store.
Your motion's on the record. I was just summarizing, but we'll make sure that's clear. Thank you.
Um, So we will move on to the next application, which is 9-2 of 22, application of Jashim Udin for a variance from section 550-39.B1 to permit a fence in the front yard. The property is situated at 7822 Park Avenue in Upper Darby, PA. That's in the R2 Residential District and the 4th Council District.
Before we begin, is there anybody here who is requesting, besides the applicant, who is requesting party status for this application? Okay, seeing none, the board will enter exhibits. ZHB1 will be the application packet. ZHB2 will be the notice photos. And ZHB3 will be the proof of publication. If the applicant could please come up to the podium. Would you use yourself?
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Need to be sworn in.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
My name is Jasimuddin.
Can you just raise your right hand to make
Yes.
the second for anyone? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay.
You can present your case.
Yes, I have a small issue. It was before is my house is buying. I last 6-7 months ago. We are living with my my daughters and my family. We are living these homes. Then our schools children are too much the passing over there. They are all meals are trashing over there. They throw the no meals, the UPS mails, the letters, something's missing always because school kids are too much disturbing. I cover only for my door, nothing other. All yard is open.
Okay.
Only for my door is closing.
Sir, I need you to speak a little more slowly. Just slow down.
Okay.
Okay.
I cover only for my doors, main doors, because it's mail coming, they can safely keep it over there. Kids cannot sit in my door because school kids are running too much. This is all sitting in my door. So I cover only for my door, nothing. All yard is open. That is my issue. I am feeling so bad. This thing, I am sorry. And I have laughed. That is the things only, nothing others.
Maybe this will be better done by questions. So I know you mentioned school kids.
Yeah, it's
Are they coming onto your lawn, and so
Yeah.
you put a fence up?
Because on the road is my door, because it's not too far. This is the road, and on the door is my main door. On the road is my main door. So I cover only for my door, nothing other, because of for secure the meals and secure my doors, nothing. Kids are not disturbing. And it was before owner is who I buy this house. He leave this house for this mealings. But I don't know her coming to is my extremely sorry. I don't know that take permission from the township is my mistakes. But I cover this is the only for door. All yard is open. I didn't cover any yard, anything.
So, your door is on the main road.
A main door.
Okay,
That is-
and that is your main door.
Yeah, main.
That's the door you use.
Yeah, I am using this door. That is mailbox, this dropping the letter, everything's always is missing. This is
The
kids are taking-
mailbox?
Yeah, mailbox over there also, there's mailing coming for UPS.
So,
If-
okay, and so UPS comes and the mailman comes
Yes, they're
and
dropping the
your,
mails
hold on. And your mail is missing?
missing.
Okay, so, but based on the pictures we have, you've put up a 6-foot fence along the front of your property.
On the main door, it was before have this one.
That's
It
the
was-
front, right? The main road. And Josh, are you able to put up at least the first posting photo on the screen?
Sure, just give me 1 minute.
Sure. The one that shows the house.
Okay.
Does the fence go all the way down the main road and then down the side road as well?
On my door, my wall, not for yard. Yard is open,
The yard is open.
everything.
So the
open.
fence goes across your
Only for-
front door and then back to the house?
Back to the house.
So you created a courtyard in front of your house?
No, that is the house only for main door and window is cover, finish.
Do you see this picture here?
Yes, yes.
So
Sorry, hold on.
if you go to the right of this picture where we
That
can't
is-
see,
Yeah, main
does
door,
that's the main road, right?
main door.
So if you go to the right end of that fence, does it go back to the house there?
I believe it does.
That is the main
Fence
door.
stops
Yeah, stop, finish it.
and
That
then
is the
it
stop.
turns.
No other, other is open. Other is open, all open. This is the last one.
Right. So
So you just put like, I don't know, a 20-foot section of fence along the sidewalk. Doesn't tie back into your house.
I have a side photo that I took today, if that would be helpful for the
I
board.
think it would.
Okay. I can't get it up in a
We
quick amount
can,
of
we can
time.
incorporate it into the record if you can just show the board.
It was before have the French, but I make color and this one, the other side have Frenches before.
So that's the side, so there's another street here.
And the issue you are having is your packages, and the reason you put the fence in was because your mail and packages go missing.
And in religion matters, is my two daughters, we are the Muslims, we are the covers, it's not open same legs.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
We are the Muslims, we are cover, this, that's why. We are
Okay,
Is that little bit is covered, that's why, is my house is safe now. That is the things, other nothing.
Safe from what?
So-
We are is Muslims,
so
religions
it-
matters
it-
also.
it shields your daughters from the
Daughter is
passing
not
public?
safe, yes, daughter is not safe, they are scared, because kids are sitting on the door, everyone's.
People are kicking on your door?
Here, kicking in the note, or the same like doing and something putting, there is always his meal is throwing over there. Many kids, his school kids going. That's why now 2 months, I give him this one is safe now, is no any problem. Nobody going inside, because his kids I cannot control.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter is, one is 18 years, one is 21 years.
18 and 21. I believe that was 18 and 21.
21, there is a study in Temple University.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The fence provides protection. Does it also provide, are you saying that the fence provides an opportunity for your daughters to be outside without being seen by the public?
Yes, that is the religion matters.
Is that if you'll excuse my own ignorance, is that a religious requirement for you? to have your daughters being shielded from the public?
She will be covered. So always is going outside university, everywhere will be covered, no opens. So their request to me, he says, but Dad is make little bit cover, will be safe, everything's. But I didn't talk to the zoning officers. This is my mistakes. That's why he make the violations. I make apply for this ones.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood. So when they're inside the fence, they cannot,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there any, is that the rest of your testimony?
Yeah, that's it.
Is there any other public comment?
Sorry.
Is anyone else, not you?
Okay.
Anyone else that wants to speak on this?
Yeah, the behind,
Well, yeah, I mean, you presented your testimony. I'm saying the public. If there's anyone in the public that has comment, does not appear to be. I will make a motion to approve application. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Did you ever construct a fence around the other side of your property, the backside, so that they could go out to the backyard?
backyard, we are not, backyard is, there is a cover. This is another house, is my friend house. There is also cover. There is no any problems. And yard we are not using. Yard is open everything. Yard is we are not using. Yard is big lot over there backside. We are not using. Just we clean everything nicely always. Just this is open. This is no. We don't use these things.
Why the 6-foot high fence versus a 4-foot high fence that is the requirement?
I think he stated they don't want to be seen behind the fence. They can take their, right. So,
I'm really sorry. I don't understand actually properly. That's why.
Also, 4 feet is not the requirement. It technically can't be anything in the front yard, in the R-2.
A hedge or something like that, too?
Okay, yes. You could have a hedge.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to approve application 9-2 of 22. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
I'm later. I'm
You have to,
abstaining.
are you abstaining or
Yeah.
abstaining? Okay. Okay, okay, the motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to application 9-3 of 22, application of John Roster for a variance from section 550-8, table 3-1, to permit a conversion of a single-family dwelling to a duplex. The property is situated at 32nd Street in Lansdowne, PA. It's in the C4 Commercial District and in the 7th Council District. One second, did we want to push both of them together?
Well, you're Mr. Rossiter?
Yes.
Do you have any witnesses or anybody else with you?
No.
To present testimony?
No.
I think you
Okay.
can move the next
Okay,
one up.
so just procedurally, you're also asking for the same variance in application 9-6.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to hear them together.
Okay.
So in conjunction with 9-3, we're also going to do 9-6 of 22, application of John Rossiter for a variance from section 550-8, table 3-1, to permit a conversion of a single-family dwelling to a duplex. The property is situated at 14 Second Street in Lansdowne, PA. It's in the C4 Commercial District and in the 7th Council District.
Yes, ma'am.
So before you're sworn in, there are a couple things. One, I would ask you to present information on both properties separately
Okay.
so that we
Sure.
can understand the difference between 30-second
Yes.
and 14-second.
No problem.
And we will take 2 separate votes on them, so you're aware.
Yes, sir.
For the purposes of both applications, ZHB1 will be the application packet, ZHB2 will be the notice photos, and ZHB3 will be proof of publication for both 9-3 and 9-6. Is anybody requesting party status for this application? Seeing none, Mr. Rossiter,
Sir.
you can be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Have your name again?
John Rossiter, Rossiter.
Can I ask a question to start? On the applications, it shows that the owner is Constantino's.
Yes.
Elliott,
I'm sorry.
And then you're the applicant. What's
I'm a
your-
partner in the company.
You're his partner?
Yes.
Okay. all right.
Yep. I do all these. He doesn't speak good English,
Okay,
so,
so you're a co-owner?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you can present your,
When we bought the properties, they were already made into duplexes, and then when we went to redeed them, we found out that it wasn't done legally through you guys, the zoning board and everything, so that's why we filed and wanted to do it legally and legit. So,
okay, so just for clarification, so the existing
owners,
property at, hold on, I'm trying to get back to my, I lost my, at 30, where am I? Okay, 32nd Street is currently a duplex?
yes, and it's rented and everything. We had the same tenants as when we bought it,
Okay, and the same thing for
14.
14 Second Street, it's currently
Yes.
operating as a duplex?
Yes.
Okay,
How are those set up?
The first floor is a one-bedroom, one-bathroom, full kitchen. And then the second floor at, you said we're doing 31st? Okay.
Yeah.
The second one at 31st is a two-bedroom, one-bathroom, one kitchen. And then for 14, it's the first floor is a one-bedroom, one-bathroom, one kitchen. And then the upstairs is a three-bedroom, one-bathroom, one kitchen. I'm sorry about my voice.
it's okay.
And at 32nd Street, there is designated spots, 8 parking spots. I have pictures for you for both properties for off-street parking.
Okay, is there some sort of deed or something that allows the 14, yeah, the people at 14 to park
Yes,
at 30?
yes.
So there's a
It's
deed?
in their lease.
It's in their lease?
Yes,
But
they're
it's
allowed-
not deeded to the property?
No,
Okay,
in that lot, I could fit 20 cars. It's so big on the side of 30.
on 30?
Yeah, I have pictures of the 8 spots that we designated for them if you'd like them. And the pictures
Yes,
of
that
the
would be
rest.
helpful.
This is the one with the parking spaces on the side and the rear, and that's only half the lot.
Okay, so we'll mark this one as A1. It's a picture of a side of a tan house with 4 parking blocks
And 4 in the rear.
and 4 in the rear. Yeah,
And then these are the pictures of all the signs and backside, rear, and everything. So
thank you. We'll mark this, the other packet of pictures, we'll just mark this collectively as A2. Let's say A1 is 2 pictures of the parking lot, and A2 is a selection of pictures of the properties.
And that is all going to be blacktop too, where you see the stone down and all.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
That area where you see the parking, that's all going to be blacktop.
Going to be.
Yes.
Okay.
After the proper permits and everything are pulled.
Can I ask another
This is
question?
commercial district, right?
Yes.
It's the Fernwood section of Upper Darby, right off of Baltimore Ave.
What I'm asking, is there requirements for permeable surfaces and how much?
No,
I would
the
ask
town-
the zoning
yeah.
officer that question.
Josh? I'm sorry, may I ask questions at this time?
You
Should
can
I
ask
wait
Josh
till
if
he's
there's a
done?
question.
Josh, can you tell us what the permeable surfaces, the percentage has to be for the commercial districts?
Sure, just give me 1 second.
While Josh is looking that up, so you said both properties, if you don't mind, Bob, are existing duplexes.
Yes, sir.
Can you do 2 things for me? One is describe how each unit is accessed, and I'm going to give you a hypothetical here. What the process, as simply as you can put it, would be if these properties needed to be converted back into a single-family dwelling?
Well, the first floor, you go in through the front door of the property
This is
and
30.
both of them.
Okay.
Both of them, the front door you go through, that's the first floor you walk in, you have a small like living room area with a big eat-in kitchen, and then you go upstairs to the bathroom and bedrooms. And then the lower unit, the one-bedroom units are in the rear. You go through the rear and you go into the kitchen, then you go into the bedroom with like a small living room area, and then you go into the kitchen.
Okay. And if you had to make these single-family dwellings again?
We'd have to tear the whole place apart.
So it would be would you describe that as a
We would probably
heat
just sell them.
burden?
We would probably sell them. Because when we bought them, we were under the impression that they were duplexes and everything was good. And then when we went to redeed them, that's when I found out that they weren't. And we own other properties on the street. They're actually duplexes and single homes. And they're all legal, legit and everything. But when I went to redeed these ones, that's when I found out previous owners didn't go through you guys like they should have before they did everything, you know?
Would the cost of conversion make it economically unfeasible to own these
Oh,
properties?
yeah. 30 alone, we just bought for 87,000 in that area. We paid a lot more than what it's worth.
Okay,
So if we had to tear it apart and everything, that'd be real hurtful.
thank you. Josh, do you have an answer?
Yes, in the C-4, the maximum impervious coverage is 70%.
What percentage is the coverage that he's showing on these things?
Is that currently paved?
Well, he's
Yeah,
talking about
Yeah, he
paving
said
it.
paving. He's paving it.
Right now, it looks like it has gravel or concrete.
It's called modified. There's modified down there.
That's there. I'm just asking that question to
Right.
make sure that we are consistent with it.
Yeah, do you have a site plan?
No, not yet.
Do you have anything that shows once you pave it, is there any other green space? Or are you paving the remaining portions of the
Oh,
lot?
no, there's a front yard, both properties, everything. So,
I guess here's a question for you.
yes, sir.
To follow up on, I think, where Bob is going with this, and Bob, you can tell me if I'm wrong in this paraphrasing. If you, would you be able to provide the required number of parking spaces for both dwellings, or all 4 dwellings, in the lot at 30?
Yeah, they are. That's at
With-
8 spots.
And still maintain a 30% green area on
Of
the
course.
property?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
That-
Like I said, we still have a whole huge area and all, that I could put a yard, the front yard's already there. There's a front yard in front of the deck a little bit, and then I could wrap it around the side. I could plant fresh soil, grass, whatever you guys wanted.
I think that would be something that I'd like to see.
He would have to comply with that requirement in doing the paving.
Looking at this, it looks like it's almost fresh gravel or fresh material that's down there.
Yeah, we put that down there to level out the ground and everything because it was so
It had been
unlevel.
grass, it had been dirt and grass, and now it's gone to this.
Was it grass before you did put the
On
modified
the side,
down?
there was some grass, yeah. That road there, it's right next to it. It's called Railroad Avenue. It's all dirt, gravel. I don't know. Josh would know. There's in that area at all, there's like no green space whatsoever on any of them properties because it's all commercial, businesses, Accurate Trash, paving companies, there's not, because it's commercial. Even most of the houses over there don't have green space except in the backyard a little bit.
Looks like something did.
And to Bob, to answer your question, certainly you could certainly propose a condition of approval if so inclined to reinforce the need to provide the requisite green space on the lot.
Sure, that wouldn't be a
Much
problem at all.
appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem at all.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Any other board comments?
Bob, is that for both lots or just for 30?
Um,
Well, 14 has a backyard that's about, I would say, it's 20 wide by about 50 long. It's grass in the back of 14.
Are you proposing any modification to the green space on 14?
No, that yard stays there. That's because the parking, that's the backyard. You walk up the alleyway of the house to get to the back door, and then that's staying. That yard is staying. Nothing's being changed in it. And it's about 20 by 50, maybe a little bit bigger.
It'd be considered existing if it's not being changed.
Right.
Okay.
Is there any other public comment? Okay. So I guess we're going to make two separate motions. I will make a motion, I guess the first one is 9-3 of 22. I will make a motion to approve the application with the condition that a site plan is provided that shows compliance with the 70% impervious. And also that, that the parking lot is deed restricted to allow access or parking from 14 Second Street.
Sure.
If I may.
Clear that up a little better, yeah.
I think what we would
Why is
want
it-
it to reflect, and we can work out the particular language for the decision, the written decision, but I would recommend that there is a recorded instrument or easement reflecting the right of
Access.
14 to park on 30.
And
Yes,
There
that's,
were-
Thinking is if you
However
ever
that wants
sell
to be.
14,
Right.
you
It'll
know, you
be
still want them to be-
deeded in with 14,
Right.
that they can park in that lot, and there's actually going to be signs there with the address
Yeah.
and the 4 spots for 14 and then the 4 for 30 also.
And a requirement to record that against both properties.
right, yes.
Yes.
There would be a requirement for both properties. Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes for 9-3. I will make a motion to approve 9-6 of 22 with the same condition that there is an easement, access easement provided to allow parking on 32nd.
Sure. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
And to bring it up to the 70.
I don't think that one had an issue because they're not doing anything with the parking lot.
That still has a front and backyard.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They're not paving that
Yeah,
one.
that has a backyard that's about 20 by 50, 50
Yeah.
minimum. It could be a little bit longer.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Jeff.
Bob, can I have those pictures for the record? Thank you.
Okay. We are on,
Line 4.
sorry. Okay, we're going to move on to application 9-4 of 22. Application of Jamal Nasser for a special exception pursuant to section 550-22C3 to permit a smoke shop in the C2 Commercial District. The property is situated at 2213 and 2215 State Road in Drexel Hill, PA, in the C2 Commercial District and in the 4th Council District.
Before we begin, is there anyone requesting party status for this application? Okay, seeing none, the board will enter the following exhibits. ZHB1 will be the application packet, which includes the lease and authorization. ZHB2 will be the notice photos, and ZHB3 will be the proof of publication. Guess we have counsel.
Yes, good evening. For the record, Tony Lee Kavanaugh on behalf of your applicant Jamal Nasar with regard to his request for a special exception to open a smoke shop business pursuant to the description given by council.
You can proceed and Bridget can swear in any witnesses you have.
My only witness this evening is my client, Jamal Nasar. He's present standing to my left.
Raise your hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please speak into the microphone.
May I begin? Yep. Thank you. Jamal?
Yes.
You requested that I assist you with filing an application with the zoning hearing board to enable you to secure a special exception to open a smoke shop at 2213, 2215 State Road, correct?
Yes.
Now, the location of that property is essentially on the corner of State Road and Lansdowne Avenue. Is that also correct?
Correct.
In the vicinity of the building, is it fair to say there are restaurants, bars, and other retail business establishments?
Yes.
In the event you are granted the exception and you open the business, will you be open later than 9 PM?
No.
And will you be open earlier than 10 AM?
No.
Will you be serving alcoholic beverages?
No.
Will you in any way be using the premises as a lounge?
No.
Will people be permitted to smoke or drink in the premises?
No.
Will they be permitted to smoke or drink in your parking lot?
No.
Do you anticipate making any structural changes to the building?
No.
So no additions, no major renovations?
No.
To your knowledge, are there any other smoke shops within 500 feet or even close
No.
to this location?
No.
You do not intend to have any use other than as a retail establishment, correct?
Correct.
And given the proximity of the building itself from the street, is it your opinion you have sufficient parking?
Yes. Like parking lot in the
Yes.
front? I see cars parked there sometimes.
I guess my question for you is, your customers, because it is not a lounge,
Oh.
they will be entering to purchase goods and then leaving, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So there won't be any prolonged parking?
No.
Okay. And did you have any traffic study done for this? You didn't, correct?
No.
Okay. With regard to the proximity of this building to residential units, I believe that you and I agree they are within 300 feet of each other, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. With regard to photograph, I don't know if council has a copy of this particular photograph. If not, I'd like to have it marked and enter it.
Sure. You can mark that as A1.
Thank you.
You'll have a copy you can provide the board.
So I do.
Okay.
And just so we're clear on these next few questions, this particular property is, may I approach?
Yes.
This particular property is essentially right across the street from Severa's Deli. To give you some color on that. The concern that we have with regard to the requirement for a planted buffer or privacy fence. You can see the cyclone fence just behind the Casey sign there in the photograph. So with regard to the requirement for a planted buffer, as you can see, there is no soil. We had considered planters However, we are concerned that that would pose a safety risk. It would interfere with traffic going in and out of the alley. We're also concerned that it would interfere with the line of sight of both pedestrians and drivers. So from a safety perspective, I think that to attempt any plantings or privacy fence would actually pose a risk. And given the distance of the residential units from this particular shop, and given the nature of the shop, we are quite certain it's not going to be disruptive to the current residents or any future residents.
So I had a question on that. So one of the, yes, you can put plantings to buffer that, but it also says you could put a privacy fence.
Right.
Where the fence is located now, I don't, is that on your property or is that?
That is not Kirk Properties. That is not
Okay.
owned by the
So is it,
landlord.
this building has a separate parcel, it's not incorporated into the shopping center? So the shopping center has access like the CVS and the,
Kirk Properties owns,
so they own that piece?
they own Severas, they
Okay, so
own
they own that
across
access
the
way?
street, correct.
Okay, so, I mean, part of the requirements, you could put up a privacy fence that would kind of better buffer. There is, I know you mentioned sight distance, but it does look like the fence kind of stops before the sidewalk. So there would still be area to kind of, the traffic when they pull up, that they would have clear sight distance because they would be beyond where the fence would be.
Right, so two things. My first concern would be whether or not the property owner would permit Kirk Properties to erect a fence on their property. I don't believe Kirk Property owns I'm going to call it the stone wall. Kirk, K-I-R-K.
Yes, I know. Right. So you don't, so, yeah, I asked before, I thought you said you owned the accessway, but you do not.
I
Or your applicant owns.
They own the accessway, but not this piece of ground that separates it from a driveway to the back of the houses.
So the fence, whose fence is it? Is it the residential fence then?
I believe, and I do not have confirmation, but I believe the currently existing fence goes with the residential properties.
Okay.
My concern, however, I'm somewhat familiar with the area. There's a lot of foot traffic. My concern would be that if someone is driving down this alleyway or access way, they might not see a pedestrian on the other side of the fence. Or if there is, and I understand your point, it does stop well before the sidewalk, but there's a lot of pedestrian traffic in this area because of all of the business establishments. And frankly, because of all of the residents, it's a very walkable area. So given the fact that the proximity, I believe, is within 300 feet, but we are asking that they not be required, that Mr. Nazar not be required to put up a privacy fence for fear that it would be a safety risk.
Have you talked to the residential property that's adjacent?
Not yet.
Yeah, because I mean, other than the fence, I do agree. I don't know that you can really put any buffer.
And there's no entryway also, as we were considering this, in that access way, that alleyway, there is a door to the rear of the property or the side of the property, however you want to characterize it, but it would not be a business entrance.
It's
So
just like
that
a
was another.
loading entrance or? what-
It would
it's
just, it would
a-
be
Emergency access or?
basically, yeah.
Okay. Do any other board members have comments?
What's the current use of the?
So the most recent use was many years ago, and it was an auto parts store. The property has currently been vacant for some time, so we're pleased that it's going to be occupied. I think, again, with regard to safety, I would prefer to see occupied buildings as opposed to vacant buildings. Granted, in this particular area, I think it's one of the only vacant buildings. Mr. Nasser has plans to improve it. So far as cosmetics, there will be no structural changes.
And I'm sorry if you covered this, but is there rear access to the premises as well?
Side access, but not for the general public,
Gotcha.
only for emergency egress.
Go ahead, Bob.
When do you accept deliveries?
I'm
Or
sorry?
when do you plan to accept deliveries of your products and things like that? Yeah, is it the very populated, as you say?
Oh, do you mean what time of day?
Yeah,
What time we?
What time of day you would take delivery of product?
How big of a
as
truck?
soon as they approve.
Well, I believe the question is, if your operating hours are between 10 a.m. and 9 p.m.,
Oh,
when would you be accepting delivery of products, or will you be bringing products?
I will be.
So would there be any large delivery trucks?
It's not large.
No large delivery trucks?
No, no large.
So
deliveries.
would anybody besides you or one of your employees be bringing any merchandise or other goods to the store? Any outside delivery people?
No, just from the farm.
And what time of day would that happen?
Around afternoon, 2 o'clock.
1 to 2 o'clock?
Yes.
I had a question about parking. I forgot to mention this before. Do they have designated parking spots for the property? Where would they be?
What did you and the landlord agree on with regard to the parking?
The parking, I don't know what's the landlord's or what it. if he
Can
has
you
some-
speak up so we can hear you?
Can't hear you.
I'm not sure, like, if he have signs over there in the building, like, no parking, but.
They have no parking signs in front of the building?
I'm not sure if he have it. So my customers will be parked, for in front of the store, like in the parking lot. Soon as they get out, they leave.
How many parking spaces will you have?
It's for almost like 10 cars. It's a big parking lot.
It's not it's not
It's also a
designated just for
passageway.
you, it's also shared
Yeah.
with the dry cleaner.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
no.
and how large is your store? How many square feet?
3,000? 3,000
3,000 square feet?
3,000.
for both?
There's plenty.
And the two storefronts?
Yeah.
Which storefront are you proposing has the main access? They're connected, right?
No, there is like a door, but right now, we're gonna open one to see how is the business, and then maybe we're gonna extend, but for now, it's gonna be, the one has the glass front.
Okay. So you are the middle unit and the end unit.
Yeah.
He's got enough space there for two,
Well-
just in front of him. And that's it.
The premises is 3,000 square feet?
I'm not sure, I didn't tell you like the exact one, but I was estimating. It's not the exact 3,000.
That's pretty large, 3,000
Yeah,
square
I
feet.
don't
It
know.
looks
That'd
a
be
little
the
smaller.
CVS size.
Not that I'm supposed to doubt you, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
look like 3,000 square feet.
I would agree. I don't think it's 3,000 square feet, and I'm
I mean,
checking
like-
the lease, and it's not
Okay.
specified. Unfortunately, I do not have a copy of the deed for the premises, so I cannot tell you.
Okay.
probably 60 feet by,
Was there rear parking too? Is that what it is? Because there's this parking, right?
Are you going to be selling other things besides tobacco products?
Tobacco, cigarettes, phone chargers, and T-shirts, stuff like that.
So,
how many people do you expect to employ there during the day?
One,
Just one? Is that one you?
yes.
So
Until-
there isn't anybody else other than you?
No, until we see the business, I can't guess, get employer and then business will not do well. So I will start to open it myself until we see how the business goes and then bring employer.
Me speaking just as myself, I know there's a lot of school-age kids, high school-age kids that are attending Upper Darby, and the others, many of them use that same walkway area. And I just want to make sure that you abide by the rules of government, that
Yes.
you aren't just selling things to minors.
I will make sure that we're not gonna sell to minors.
is that it? All comments from the board? Is there any other public comment? Any public comment? Okay. Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve application 9-4 of 22. Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. 3-0, motion passes. Thank you.
Very much. You'll receive a written decision within 45 days.
Thank you very much.
We were moving on to application 9-5 of 22, application of Lou Phillips for a variance from section 550-39.B1 to permit a 6-foot vinyl privacy fence in the front yard along the property line. The property is situated at 3825 School Lane in Drexel Hill, PA. It's in the R1 Residential District and in the First Council District.
All right, before we begin, Mr. Phillips, is there anybody present who is requesting party status for this application? Okay, seeing none, the board will enter some exhibits. ZHB1 will be the zoning application packet, which includes the application, written answers to the questions, a tax map, and the deed and a hand-drawn sketch. ZHB 2 will be what we'll call survey photos. ZHB 3 will be photos of the property provided by the applicant. ZHB 4 will be the notice photos, and ZHB 5 will be proof of publication. Mr. Phillips, the court reporter will now swear you in.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Do you need copies of the posters, or do you have them already?
We do not. We have them.
Have-
Have them? I'd like to just bring another couple.
Thank you, sir. We'll mark these collectively as A1. They're just photographs.
So we bought our house in 1980, and we've been living there for 42 years. So there are several reasons why I'm requesting a variance for installation of the fence. The family next door is extremely active in all sports and other activities, and they are frequently encroaching on our property almost on a daily basis and for a considerable amount of time. I submitted the documentation earlier for your perusal. I also have expensive low-voltage landscape lighting all around the property, and one of the photos will show one of those low-voltage lights with, I have 5 metal bars around it to try to keep from being broken or, something happening to them. So right now, I placed the 5 metal stakes around the light, closest to where I plan on installing the fence. Because there's so much activity, I'm concerned that it could be damaged or broken. They also have several animals, pit bulls. One is fairly aggressive and is usually on 2 chains that are put together, and I don't know the exact measurement, but to me, it seems to be roughly 10 feet or so. And on one of the photos I could show you there, I have 2 pink notes on it, which shows the chain fully extended, and you'll see the head of the pit bull, how far it can reach. And then another photo will show the chain actually on the driveway. So I keep our trash on the side door of our house, and we usually, or I take the trash out mostly. I go out the back and along my cyclone fence, but I have to go out my gate to access where I keep my trash. And the dog is usually out there, and he starts barking and trying to lunge at me, and comes within maybe 4 feet of me. And I'm concerned for my safety since they don't have a fence, and they also get loose every once in a while. So the fence will help provide me safety and for my family, so that when I exit my cyclone fence gate, this new fence will help protect me from being, run at from the dog, and I feel more protected. And the last point I'd like to make is the fact that since I have a corner property, my front door faces School Lane, so that's considered my front yard. So the side of my property where I intend on putting the straight run of the vinyl fence, I have to get a variance because that's considered my front yard, where the property next door to me is facing Aronimink Place. So they would be allowed to put that same fence that I'm asking for a variance, they'd be allowed to put that same fence on their side of the property line without any variance, just having a permit. So, I appreciate your consideration to have this variance.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the photos were helpful. I have a couple questions. You said, so the fence line's going to run kind of parallel to their driveway
Yes,
on your property, obviously.
on my property.
Will it taper down closer to the,
They'll have a wing down at the last
Okay.
section from 6 to 4,
okay,
and it'll comply with the setback
okay.
as well.
Just for sight distance issues for them coming out of the driveway, they would still be able to see with the,
Absolutely. Plus the traffic, when they would leave, it comes down that way. They have plenty of vision. And it would match the similar fence that I have on my placards. It'll be a white vinyl with the wing down. It'll be a high-quality fence.
okay. And then, so it's just along that driveway, it does not
The
cut
straight run,
across?
straight run
Okay,
from the end of my cyclone fence, which you'll see on that picture.
okay,
And that one picture I submitted will show that bush with the low-voltage lighting that's right there.
okay. Any other board members have questions? Any members of the public have questions? Okay. Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve application 9-5 of 22.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we've already done application 9-6, so we will move on to 9-7 of 22, application of JMS Real Estate Investments LLC for a variance from section 550-2 to permit a 10 50-foot front yard where a 100-foot yard is required, a variance from section 550-20 to permit a 11-foot rear yard where 20 is required, a variance from section 550-20 to reduce the existing non-conforming maximum impervious coverage from 100% to 84.7%, a variance from section 550-33A, a variance to permit 8 parking spaces where a minimum of 20 spaces is required, a variance from section 550-33.D20A to permit a deviation from the 10-foot required planting strip between the parking and the street right-of-way, and any other relief, okay, the property is situated at 3 Kelly Street in Lansdowne, PA, and is in the C4 Commercial District and in the 7th Council District.
Before we begin, is anybody here, I'm guessing you two behind Mr. Miller are part of the application? Correct. Applicant. Sir, you're good? Okay. The zoning board will enter the following exhibits. ZHB 1 will be the application. ZHB 2 will be a cover letter dated September 6th, 2022. ZHB 3 will be the addendum to the petition for variances. ZHB 4 will be the deed. ZHB 5 will be the zoning plan. ZHB 6 will be the existing conditions plan. ZHB 7 will be the notice photos, and ZHB 8 will be the proof of publication.
Thank you. Charles Miller on behalf of the applicant. I do have a copy of the exhibits that if I could hand those up.
Please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll try to be as brief as we're stretching into the night here. This property is known as 3 Kelly Street. Our client also owns separately taxed parcels that are surrounding the property as well. A1 is an affidavit of posting and pictures of the posting of the property. A2 is my client's deed. As you indicated, it's in the C4 Commercial District. It's a 14,812 square foot lot with frontage on Kelly Street. The property is currently totally paved, and it's used for parking and vehicle storage in connection with the surrounding lots and uses on that lot. What's being proposed is using the property for vehicle service. There's an expectation, there's a tenant that's going to be servicing school district school buses. There's going to be, I think, a 2,800 or 3,000 square foot building with 3 vehicle service bays. There's going to be an additional, a total of 8 parking spaces with an accessible space as well. Other landscaping and removing some of the concrete blocks fronting Kelly. As indicated, there's dimensional relief that's required. There's also relief from the parking. The non-conforming impervious coverage, because it's 100% right now, will be reduced. And I've got the 2 witnesses. So first I would call David Damon. I'll let you have the mic.
I do. David P. Damon. D-A-M-O-N.
If I may, can I begin? Mr. Damon, are you a professional engineer licensed in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
I am.
And what's your position with H. Gilroy Damon Associates?
I'm president.
And have you previously testified before zoning hearing boards and other governing bodies and been accepted as an expert in the field of civil engineering?
Yes, I have.
And is that on numerous occasions?
Yes.
And I submitted to the board as A3 a copy of your resume. Is that true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
I would ask that the witness be accepted as an expert in the field of civil engineering.
I would recommend that the board accept.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Damon, are you familiar with the property subject to this application? It's known as 3 Kelly Street in Upper Darby Township.
Yes, I am.
And did your firm prepare the zoning plan, which I've marked as Exhibit A4, I believe, and the existing conditions plan, which I believe has been marked as A5?
Yes.
And can you describe, I think you have it on the easel here, can you just kind of describe the existing conditions on the property and summarize those for the board?
The property is located in the C4 Commercial Industrial Zoning District. It's located 140 feet south of Baltimore Avenue, has a about 165-foot frontage on Kelly Street. 100 feet, the lot is 14,812 square feet in area. It currently has ingress and egress to Kelly Street through a gated driveway that's located just north of the lot. It's presently all paved. It has a series of concrete bins that front and extend out into Kelly Street. They're about 6 foot high, precast concrete units that are used to store materials.
And what's, the applicant owns the properties that surround this particular lot that we're talking about where the proposed development is that correct?
Yeah, it's surrounded by other commercial industrial uses. There's a service station on the opposite corner of Kelly Street, an equipment repair shop that's directly across the street, and then other properties owned by the applicant. To the north and to the east, to the south is industrial property, and then SEPTA over the line. The other property is actually located in the Aden Borough. The Aden Borough boundary is right on the southerly boundary of the property.
And just for the zoning plan for what's being proposed, can you can you summarize that for the board as well?
So, one-story, 2,800 square foot building is proposed to be constructed on that lot. It would be situated in the south portion of the lot. The existing concrete bins along the frontage would be removed, and about, that's about 2,200 square foot of existing paving would be removed, and the area to the west of the building would be landscaped, and to the south of the building would also be landscaped. There'd be parking for 8 cars along that Kelly Street frontage, and an area in front of the building would have 3 overhead doors to access from the north side, an area here so the school buses could maneuver into that those service areas.
And the access will use the existing gated entryway along Kelly Street, is that correct?
Yeah, there'd be a 20-foot right-of-way access easement to allow access through here, and then on the east side of the building would be a loading area.
And so that's a basic summary of what's being proposed. Are you familiar with our petition and the zoning relief that's necessary in order to develop what's being shown on that zoning plan?
Yes, I am.
And so if you could, we could just go over those quickly. There's the first request is a variance to permit a 10-foot front yard where 100 feet is required. Is that correct?
Yeah, under the C4 zoning, there's a 100-foot setback required from Kelly Street, and the lot's only 100 feet.
So in other words, in order to develop or put any structure on there, you'd need zoning relief from the board, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so what we're proposing is to have a 10-foot front yard, is that correct, from Kelly Street?
Yes.
And then the other variance would be, is a rear yard, proposing a 12.7 rear yard where 20 is required, is that correct?
Yes.
And given that location, is there, would it in effect be a little further away from any other existing or other uses because of the where that rear yard is located?
It's located towards the south side of the property where it's Yadenboro, away from Kelly Street. And it allows the minimum amount of area that's required in the north side of the building for the parking and to provide access for the clientele.
And then, even though the property is currently 100% impervious, as you indicated, there's going to be additional landscaping that will reduce that nonconformity, is that correct?
Right, so the area, again, to the west of the building, between Kelly Street and the building would be landscape. There'd be a 10-foot strip, and then along the south side of the building would be landscape, so the impervious cover would be reduced to 84.7 from the present 100%.
And you talked about, the other variance is with respect to that planning strip that you talked about. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit to the board?
So the parking is right up against the Kelly Street right away, so that would require a variance, but presently the concrete bins that are 6 foot high extend out into that right away 8 feet. So those would be removed and there'd be landscaping, 8 foot of additional landscaping that would be provided in front of those parking spots near where I'm pointing to on that east side of Kelly Street.
So essentially, there would be an 8-foot strip separating the parking in Kelly Street, but eight of that feet will be basically in the kind of the right-of-way area of Kelly.
That's correct.
And the final variance is from, with respect to the minimum parking requirements. And so my understanding is that for automobile services and the proposed bays, a total of 20 spaces would be needed, is that correct?
Right, so there's 5 spaces per bay required and 1.5 employee spaces per bay required. So it would be 20 spaces required. This service station, because the clientele being school districts, really doesn't have a lot of customers that would drive to it, so it's mainly school buses being dropped off, and there's ample parking for the employees and for customers that do come with the 8 spaces.
Right, so in other words, you think the 8 spaces will be sufficient for the type of use proposed and the existing space that's there?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the standards for variances set forth in the township zoning ordinance?
Yes, I am.
And as a licensed professional engineer, having studied the property, prepared the plan, discussed and understanding the proposed use and development, and all the other things that you have testified to here before the board, do you have an opinion as to whether those standards have been met where applicable?
Yes, I do.
And why is that?
We're providing, I guess, the minimum amount of variances for this use. It's has hardships due to the shape of the property because it's only 100 feet deep. You can't build anything within there without asking a variance. And also, it's 100% impervious now, so that it's non-conforming, and we're reducing that. And the setback, that we're asking for on the south side is really the minimum setback to develop the property in a reasonable manner.
And if the board were to grant the variances that are requested, in your opinion, would that alter the essential character of the neighborhood in which the property is located or substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of surrounding properties or adjacent properties, or otherwise be detrimental to the public welfare.
My opinion is it would not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or create any sort of issues for adjoining properties.
And I think you touched on this, but if the variances, if the board will grant those, do you believe those variances are the minimum necessary or represent the minimum relief necessary in order to develop the property in a reasonable manner and as proposed?
I do.
I don't have anything further for this witness.
So any board members? Go ahead, Bob.
What is the property currently being used for?
It has the storage bins and paved areas for parking. So it's the storage of materials and vehicles presently. So there's areas, storage of materials, and then
Where are the vehicles operated or repaired currently? I mean, I saw vehicles in the lot now.
where do they get repaired now?
Yeah,
I'm not certain. We have the owner here that can probably testify better
Right.
to where that.
I allowed the prospective tenant,
I think they swore, did you swear?
No, I
you-
didn't.
Oh, sorry.
Do you want him to?
Yes, if you could.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Hi, your name?
John Angelini, Angelini. How are you, everyone? The prospective tenant is actually using my building. I own two buildings that hold an easement on this property. So he didn't lose the contracts for the school district. So that's where they're operating now. They were down in Westinghouse in Essington. And the whole thing got bought by Amazon, and they're putting a big building up.
I hate when we get off track, but I'm going to ask you this question since you brought it up. The easement, I'm guessing you're referencing allowed access to that building to the on plan right that takes up the entire property there? Or that building?
I own this building here. And I own this is through Kelly with this yard. There's an easement comes in here between 6600 Baltimore Pike.
I'm gonna let the board finish with Mr. Damon, but I'm guessing I'm gonna have some more questions for you once you testify. I'm assuming you're gonna offer him as a witness.
Correct.
I won't get away.
Yeah, I don't know who this question goes to. So there is a existing, I thought, when I first looked at the plan, I thought there was no building on the existing lot, but there is an existing building on the lot.
That's on a separately deeded property.
Okay, so they start basically at that building line. It looks like there's no, the building is literally sitting on the property line.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask my question then. Is access to that building on the separately deeded property, which I think you just called 3 Kelly, is that across the property that we're talking about here? How do you access that building?
Yeah,
The vertical building? Yes, that one.
Yeah, there's actually two gates. You have one off of Kelly and another one through here, which is Yaden, that is owned by the A&P warehouse that used to jump on the railroad line. And before I developed this back here, you used to have to turn around, tractor trailers would back down this street. It was actually dangerous. Now they can
Yeah.
pull in and they go through my yard just because, for, safety reasons. There's 2 ways in and out, and there's plenty of room.
Okay, so when this property is, if it is developed as this bus repair garage with the new building in the planned southwest corner, I guess it is the southwest corner of the property, how are people, individuals going to be accessing that building on the separate lot? And if they are, how are they going to be accessing that building?
So they would access it through here and through here, but they.
When you say through here and
There's
through here,
doors
can you be more
on-
specific?
On the subject property, so
So they would cross from Kelly Avenue across the property that's before the board tonight to that other property that is completely building.
Yeah, from the access easement here and then across the frontage or into the north side of that adjacent zone.
You said across the access easement. Is the subject property we're discussing tonight also accessed by an access easement?
Yes.
Or is that, yes?
Yes. The access easement is on a separately taxed parcel, correct?
Correct.
Which is just north, also owned by the applicant.
So there's a separate parcel that's subservient to both of these parcels?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And they own both of those. The access easement provides access to this property that's subject here tonight, as well as the one with the building on it in the rear, well, I guess it's the east part of the property as you see it on the plan.
And access across the subject parcel isn't a necessity? It has access from either the easement or the southerly part
Right.
property?
You can John, if I'm correct, you can access this subject property where you're proposing the building through the rear of the property,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Sorry, but that isn't an easement. So if you're accessing from that southern portion of the lot, people do access the building that way, but that part is not in the access easement?
Correct, you don't need an access easement for that. I think the access easement you need because of the buses, you'll need to access through the gate there,
Okay,
because it's wide
Just
enough.
easier.
It's easier and it's also
There's enough
existing.
room though, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's enough room to come in either way.
Okay.
You can come in here and turn around, no problem, and go in here and go back out.
okay.
The nice thing is that they drop, one driver drops the other one off and then they leave, so it's not like a retail, where they have a bunch of cars or a Midas or anything like that, or people hanging out for that.
What is the other building used for?
I own a construction company that's ran out of these two buildings. And then you have the police substation that I put out front on Baltimore Pike. I can't cover on that.
I'm sorry, what kind of operations on Baltimore Pike?
There's a 1,000 square foot police substation up in Darby that's here that I donated to the township because I really wanted to. On Saturday, Sunday, they bring nothing but dirt bikes and motorcycles and everybody from West Philadelphia comes up. So, happy to have them there.
So the two buildings that you are operating out of are the one that's landlocked. And
That's
the
why
other-
I bought it, because
And the
they
other
both
one
were
is
arguing over who owned the easement, the two owners.
The 5742 Baltimore Avenue property?
I believe that the address is 6600 Baltimore Pike, which is a 10,000 square foot building.
Okay.
And that's here with a 1,000 square foot addition right on Baltimore Pike, which is now a police substation.
And you operate the rest of that building?
The other 10,000 feet is back here.
Is your construction company?
And then there's another 6,000 over here, which is 3 Kelly. And it's all my construction company.
Thank you.
Where do you hold the fluids from the buses and things like that? I assume you're changing
They
oils
have
and various
holding
other-
tanks that the trucks come and suck everything out of, for waste oil. They have waste oil tanks and, oil tanks. They're all above ground. Nothing's underground.
Okay.
They would be inside the shop.
Do you have any plans to have charging station for the buses?
I didn't see any electric buses coming.
They will be.
I'm with you.
You own the Yaden lot as well?
I do not. I rent it from Media Real Estate. I tried to buy it, but they have a big cell tower there that they don't want to sell.
Don't blame them. What's the use of that adjacent lot?
That's where I have materials out back that I had in the yard, like screenings and stone, containers. There's actually an acre and a half behind it, so we're not pressed for space. Sure.
Other dimensional questions for our engineering survey?
I don't have any additional questions for the engineer. I don't know if you guys do, or go ahead, you can go ahead and move on with your,
Just with respect to Mr. Angelini, I would just ask you, just to kind of give a summary, I think you've already done it, about your background and what's being proposed here, and in your knowledge of the area and experience in the area.
I have operated my business out of Fernwood for 20 years. I was 4 streets over on William Street, which was a very tight spot. I bought most of the property on the 4 blocks and renovated everything as my business grew. This was the biggest property in the area, and I outgrew my area of business. But everything that I bought on these 4 blocks, and anybody who knows me, was burnout or abandoned or, people, squatting in the property. So I cleaned everything up on those 4 blocks. I own almost all the houses that are anywhere near this property, and we take care of the block. When I moved there, people were getting shot and selling drugs, and we have a very good situation in these 4 blocks, which is where West Philadelphia comes in and where Dayton comes in. So it's kind of landlocked there, but I didn't really have anywhere else to go there at the time, and I wasn't buying it for the real estate other than I had nowhere else to operate. I've had a very good relationship with the police. Obviously, they're in my building, and done nothing but try to improve the area and take care of the area for the last 20 years.
Given your knowledge of the area and experience in the area, do you believe that the location of the proposed facility that's subject to this application is the best location for this facility?
Absolutely.
And the parking, we're requesting a deviation from the parking. Do you believe that the number of spaces that you're providing will be sufficient for what the proposed use is?
I do.
And are there any issues with the property currently that you think will become an issue as a result of your development of this property?
I do not.
And again, because of your knowledge and extensive knowledge of the area, do you think that the proposed development will in any way negatively impact the neighborhood or have any impact on the use or development of surrounding properties that you don't own, or any way be detrimental to the welfare of the residents of Upper Darby Township?
No, and there's an acre and a half of land behind where we're putting the building, and then it's a railroad. So there's absolutely no. I mean, you have a landscaper, a small equipment mechanic across the street, and then there's an acre and a half up to the rail line.
Right.
So
And do you believe that the variances that we're requesting from the board are the minimum variances to be requested in order to develop the property in a reasonable manner and as proposed?
I do.
I don't have anything further.
Any board members have questions? Well, there's no more public left, so I don't think anyone's going to be commenting. I will, I guess at this point.
Just move in, I would ask
Oh.
you to move in the exhibits.
Yep.
That's all.
I will make a motion to approve 9/7 of 22. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Before we close our meeting, we just have one other matter of business, the appointment of a solicitor. So we had, I guess, gone through an RFP process. We had received a couple, I think two proposals from legal firms, and we did interview them, and through that process, we found that we already had the right fit in Rudolph Clark being our solicitor. First of all, I wanted to thank Greg and Samantha for the legal advice they provide us, and I think they're doing a great job. And I will make, I guess, a motion to approve Rudolph Clark as our solicitor for the zoning hearing board.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much. We like being here.
With that, I will make another motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.